Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another slightly modified episode of Spec Talk. Today is a re our second shot or a take two at what was supposed to happen on Wednesday, and through some what I'd like to call a technical hiccup, we all have our name for it. We apologize for what happened on Wednesday, but we are here to make it up for you on a Friday afternoon. Today's episode, and this is going to be a fun one because we need the audience for today. So today's episode is our Spec Link Q&A. There is no topic today. The viewers are bringing their own topics, their own questions, and we're going to answer them the best we can in the time that we have set aside today. With you, as always, is myself, Dory Azar, and co-host extraordinaire, Alex Bear. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing great. It's exciting
Excellent.
to be here today.
We have all that built up energy from Wednesday that
That's right.
we're supposed to have our episode, and now it's going to be 10 times more exciting. As always, Alex and I are more than happy to connect with anybody on LinkedIn if anybody wants to reach out. I know I connected with a few of you guys this morning, but feel free to reach out. Alex and I are always up for a good connection. And like I said, today's is open house format. So whatever questions you got, we're going to try to get to them. If our guest today can't get to them on air, we've got Gary Christensen working in the background today, helping answer questions in the chat. I'll help. Alex is here. Alex Bear is here. We're all going to do our best to get to that. And today's special guest is our training specialist, Alex Fulton. So we have two Alexes today, but Alex is going to sort of walk us through. We're going to start with a couple of questions that he wants to share with us, and then we're going to take questions from the audience today. But a little bit about Alex. Alex is a resident training specialist from RIB SpecLink. I think he just passed his 3 years here, if I'm not mistaken, under his belt. And Alex has become a go-to person for training in SpecLink Cloud and Spec Live Impact. Outside of work, he's a true multi-hobbyist. He's played just about every sport imaginable, explored the world of VR sim racing, which is wild, and even birding. And he is a board game aficionado with 108 board games. So today, guys, if you're a Spec legend or Spec curious, Alex is going to bring both his brilliant knowledge and personality to the table. So welcome, Alex.
That is one heck of an introduction. I appreciate
How
that.
did
I
how did
feel
I
I
do?
feel
Is that
like I've got
is that
more energy
okay?
right away.
All
Yeah.
right, all right. Well, that's the hype is real. Welcome. It's not Wednesday. We're kind of making up for lost time here, but I think we
Yeah.
are going to be providing a really cool episode today. So there's a couple of things that I want to ask the audience first before we dive into anything. I realized today, and we've got got a good chunk of people on here. I don't have any good spec jokes. And I know in every industry there's like good spec, like good jokes that, architects have and engineers have, and I'm sure doctors and lawyers. And I'm like, I don't have any good spec jokes. So if you guys that are watching today have a good spec joke or about spec writing or specs in general, I need some spec jokes. So please leave
Yeah.
those in the comments. While you guys are thinking about that, we're going to start with a poll today. And that poll question is going to lead us into our first uh, demo today. So we're going to start big, and we're going to ask you today, did you know that you can add links to choice options in SpecLink? This is a bit of I read this, somebody told us this might be a bit of an advanced question here to kick off with, but I'd be very curious to know if you guys knew that you could add links to choice options. Alex Bear, did you know that you can?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Alex Fulton, you better know. I mean, that's
I would
part of
hope
the
so.
deal here.
Yeah. I'm gonna
So
show you
we
how to do it.
Excellent. We waiting for a couple answers to trickle in here. Oh, okay, let's stop it there because we're exactly 60-40. So 60% of us were not aware, 40% were. So why don't we start there today, Alex? Why don't you take over screen control and show us how we can do that? And the comments and questions are open, guys. So if anybody has anything to say, let's hear it. Let's get going. It's gonna be. I'm like riled up right now. So let's do this.
Yeah, no, the Friday energy is really flowing through you. I'm just waiting for that little loading thing to let me click on my screen. And I
No
will be
problem.
clear that this isn't just a random topic that I wanted to bring more than anyone else. We did go through some previous uh, unanswered questions from Spec Talks to make sure we could pull the right one for you.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Oh, all right. Hold on. Let's try again with the share screen. I had that loading wheel sitting on me for a second there.
No problem. I'm seeing some familiar names in the comment section already. This is fantastic. Few people I exchanged a couple of emails with last night, so it's good to see you guys made it to today's episode.
All right. I think I got it to pop up now.
All right. Alex Fulton is now the presenter. So yeah.
Ooh.
There you go.
There we go. All right, sorry about that little loading there, guys. Hit a weird snag. I've got my mouse nice and large so everyone can track it and make it real easy.
Hold on. I can't see your screen yet. So give us.
Oh.
Can anyone else? Alex Bear, can you see this screen share?
I cannot.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got a
There it
note
is. Okay, now it just showed
got
up.
a note
It
that
just
I'm
showed.
running a little choppy. That should smooth out.
No problem.
That should smooth
But
out
you
in a
have-
second. I apologize for the technical.
Look at the beautiful yellow cursor.
There we go. Yeah, trying to make it pop a little bit more because I know that I sometimes have the tendency to zip around because I'm obviously quite familiar with SpecLink Cloud. So sometimes I go a little faster than some people can track. So I had to make the mouse nice and big and turn down the sensitivity to keep it nice and slow. So that'll help a little bit more today. So I've actually set up a little example for adding adding some links to choice fields here. So I have a paragraph here. Please remember to pick up. And then our options are apples, 2x4 boards, or a baseball glove. And then I have this other paragraph running an errand today to the grocery store, hardware store, and sports store. And you can see how they kind of connect. So over here on our sequence manager tab on the left, when we open that up, we have our different options in here, and we are going to be focused on links. So I'm going to open up this linking menu. And when I do that, it immediately gives us this link drop down, which I can use directly from here to set the focus paragraph. But just to be safe, I'm going to start us at the top where I can click create new link, because that's the base template. That's where I like to start. And this is also something else that I always tell people whenever we're talking about creating links is have a goal in mind before you do anything. So in my head, the way that I want to create this choice link is I want the choice option that I'm selecting here, whether it's apples, 2x4 boards, or a baseball glove, to line up with the place that we're running errands to, the grocery store, hardware store, sports store. So in that case, since this will be my initial selection, I want this to be my focus paragraph. So I'm going to drag 1052 over here, and it'll load up, and so we can see, please remember to pick up apples. So we've got that focus paragraph set. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to be targeting something else. So since we're going to be interacting with this first, we're now going to be targeting the next line here. So I'm going to be creating a target link with it. So we open that up, and now we have our workspace. So I always like to drag in the paragraph that we're going to be working with first. And we do have the option to type as well. And the first thing that you'll notice is whenever you drag in a paragraph for a paragraph with the choice option in it, is you will see the choice list appear below. Now, if you don't want to make a choice link, you can ignore it, just hit save, make your link. But we are making choice links today, so I'm going to pay attention to that. So what we're going to be doing is, now that I've got the paragraph in, I see the choice list up down here, I want to go up to the top and click show choice list up here. So now I can see the choice list from the focus paragraph, and I can see the choice list from the target paragraph. Now I'm going to go back up, and so and since we already have the default set to apples and grocery store, I'm going to select 2x4 boards as the main option that I'm selecting here. And then down here, I want, when I select 2x4 boards, to line up with hardware store. So I can select that. And now you'll see, as soon as I clicked that, we got some things that changed in step one. It no longer has the P in the different color. It is now just showing a C. That is because we are creating a choice to choice link. So this choice is linked to a different choice. So with that, I'm going to hit save. But before I go and demo that, let's add another one and make sure that they're working in multiple ways. So once again, I'm going to follow the same process. Drag 1053 over, make a selection here for sports store and baseball glove. And then I'll hit save. And let's just wrap it up because I've got 3 options, so that means 3 links. 1053 again, and we're going to have apples, and we're going to have grocery store. And there we go. So now we can see, and I'll hide the choice list to make it nice and tight. So now we can see that paragraph 1052 has 3 choice-to-choice links, all with 1053. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to make sure this worked. So over here in this paragraph, please remember to pick up. Now I'm going to click on our list, and I'm going to switch it over to 2x4 borders. When I do that, I can see that it said saved at the top, and we're going to give it a second to load. And right below it, it switched from grocery store to hardware store. So that is a great example of a choice-to-choice link. Now you can do this with a lot of different methods within writing specs. Obviously, you usually aren't making your to-do list in SpecLink Cloud, but it does work for simplifying an example.
Speak for
Now
yourself.
let's test it again. We've had fair enough. It'd actually be a good way to really plan out the day. Make sure you can have your different categories organized.
Every time I order apples, I also want bananas. Yeah. We just have a quick question about zooming in a little bit. Is there a way you can maybe give us a little bump on the zoom?
I can indeed.
All right.
Got our SpecLink Cloud zoom right there. So I'll go to 120. Oh, that's 125. Back one. 120. And bring us over here. And when I zoomed in, did it go down or up? I think it went. Need to go find my paragraphs again.
No worries. We got a question from Faith about paragraphs, what you're working on here. So maybe when you're ready, I can ask that one.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to click real quick, make sure that baseball glove works. So I click on baseball glove, and that's going to save up there. Now we'll let it load, and it does switch to sports store properly. Nice.
Cool.
Okay, so those choice-to-choice links are working. So yeah, go ahead and hit me with that question.
Well, the question from Faith is, what about a choice to paragraph link where making a choice activates, deactivates other lines?
Fantastic question, Faith. And I don't know if you can see, but I've actually got a paragraph here, E, that I've already set up to work for this. Now I'm going to reset my zoom to default because I seem to have lost all my sequence numbers there. And I'm just going to do the Chrome zoom to hopefully make that a little easier for you guys. Ooh, that's a little close. Okay, there we go. That's a good distance, and I still have my numbers there, all set. Okay, so I'm going to go down to our paragraphs again. Yeah, so I have this extra paragraph here already set up of be sure to check list for the amount of items. Now, the one thing that I've noticed here of our list that we're using for an example is we have apples, 2x4 boards, and baseball glove. So in all honesty, we are not going to need to get a ton of baseball gloves at one time, where we might need to get multiple apples and boards. So we can set it to where when apples or 2x4 boards is selected, paragraph E will activate. And we can set it to where baseball glove is activated. Paragraph E can become a red link and let you know this shouldn't be activated. So let's give that a test. So I'm going to deactivate paragraph 154 and then go back over here. Now, once again, have the vision in your head of what you're doing ahead of time. So kind of walk through the steps. So make that plan and then start to execute it. So this is when I select apples or 2x4 boards, I want paragraph 154 to activate. So that means I'm interacting with this paragraph. So it's my focus paragraph. And then I'm targeting a different paragraph. So I'm making a target link. So I'm clicking at another target link here. And I will drag 154 over. Now this one, you can still see the link type is P and the link color is green. So this right now is a classic paragraph to paragraph link. And so if I hit save right now, it will just activate whenever 1052 is activated. But if I go up and show choice list and I select apples, now nothing's going to change down here. But when I hit save, we're going to see a new lettering here where instead of C to C, we have C to P. So that's choice to paragraph. So once again, I'll do it one more time with, actually, we'll stick with just apples for right now. And let's go over here and I'm going to go for baseball glove and I'll select apples. Now that apples is selected, Give it a second to load and find that link. There we go. 1054 activates. So that is a choice to paragraph link. Now you can do it the other way around too, where you can have certain paragraphs linked directly to choices. So when I activate a paragraph, a choice will activate with it. So there's a lot of different ways you can combine choices and linking. But the main thing is to make sure you're selecting a choice from the list, either in your focus paragraph or the target.
Excellent. Faith had written back and said, but it won't deactivate the non-applicable paragraphs.
Yes. So that is the one hiccup that we do have with choice paragraphs. So in this instance right here, when I have selected apples, and apples is the reason 1054 is activated. If I go back over to baseball glove, now there is nothing that is telling 1054 to be activated. So 1054 will deactivate here. But the other way around, so if I have, I'll do a quick other example here. So I'm going to go leave links and create a new link just to show what Faith is referring to here. So I'm going to take 1055 and I'm going to say, I want 1055 to switch running an errand today to NA. I want this to move to NA. Just to make sure I'm not accidentally overloading the links, I'm going to just set that to none right now. So I'm going to say that when I activate paragraph 1055, I want Sports Store to switch to NA. So I'm going to pull it over our focus paragraph, click to add a target, and we know it's going to be in 1053. And I want NA option selected. And with that, I'm going to hit save. So now we have a paragraph to choice link. So I'm going to activate 1055, and we're going to pay attention to Sports Store to see what happens. So 1055 is now active, and Sports Store has switched over to NA. So I guess whenever we're preparing our substrate surfaces, we're not allowed to run errands that day. It's our one task for the day. Now, what Faith is referring to here is, in this instance, if I deactivate 1055, this will not switch back to Sports Store. And that is just one of the hangups that does exist when you're making these choice links, because there's no way to create a link from a deactivation point of view. So you can't have a, when I deactivate this paragraph, something else happens.
All right, Alex, we got another question that came in from Lily, and Lily's a new user, so we want to make sure that we're getting her up and running as confidently as possible.
Of course.
I think it's a pretty simple demonstration. It's asking how to add a new choice or a new fill in the blank.
Now, just to clarify on that one, Lily, are you talking about adding a new choice to an existing field or creating a fresh one in its entirety?
Okay, I know this is probably, I drag and drop the choice menu and it doesn't work. So it sounds like a new one.
Okay, so
But if,
we'll come down. We'll just
Lily's
activate
saying
our
fresh one. Yep,
1054,
she
so I have a
just,
good place to put it. Okay, so just how we had our tab over here where I was creating our links with Sequence Manager, on the opposite side, we're going to zoom over and we have a different tab called the Document Manager. And in here, we have one that says Choices. So in here, this is where you can actually create the list. And then whenever you're creating a choice list, if you hit this plus, it shows you all the different options. And you can add a ton of different variety into your choice lists. I'll keep it really simple right now, and I'll just add a quick fill in the blank. I'll add a custom text to say, hi SpecTalk. Should have probably capitalized SpecTalk, but that's fine. And then maybe I'll add a reference standard in there just for fun. So I've made a quick choice list here. From here, now that I've actually made the list and chosen whatever options I want, now all I have to do is come down to the choice list preview, and there's a little hand right here with that kind of looks like it's poking something. You want to grab that hand and drag that into the document where you want that choice list to appear. So I'm going to try and drag it right here. And now we have our list. So it is starting with the fill in the blank, and I can check off my additional and SpecTalk because I made a multiple select choice compared to what I had made up here of a single select choice.
Excellent. All right. There is a so I hope Lily just said awesome, thank you. So we will take that as a happy new
Fantastic.
customer. So Lily, yeah, reach out anytime with questions. I want to remind everybody too that all the things we're talking about today are like this episode is recorded, will be uploaded. It's usually by the next day, but the next day is usually a Thursday. So with tomorrow being a Saturday, I'd say maybe give us till Monday, but we can post the link if anybody needs to be able to find them to watch on a future episode. Now the questions are coming in fast and furious today, and I just lost one that I was going
Oh,
to.
good.
Good.
Well, yeah,
Where
we
did it
like a lot of
go?
questions.
We love a lot of questions, but I lost the one that I was about to ask.
Oh no.
Oh, well, my good was mostly for the lot of questions, not for you losing.
Oh yeah, okay. So I will take it as like a half good thing. There's a few comments coming in about
Yeah.
zooming in and the alignment of the sequence numbers. Here's one. Zoom in and losing the column is the big complaint for my engineers. I know there's a few
Oh.
Zoom comments that were coming in. Where is the other one there? Why do sequence numbers stop aligning with paragraphs when you increase the view? Is that something that happens?
So that is actually something that occasionally will happen, depending on the browser settings, how many resources are being taken up with your computer at the time and everything. Like we saw it happen here when I zoomed in, we lost those sequence numbers and the paragraphs were slightly misaligned. We're currently doing a live stream. I've got the video on, I'm sharing the screen. So it wasn't able to load and get it all accurately set up. So we do
Oh,
see it
okay.
happen from time to time, but our team is aware of it and are working on a fix.
Okay. Because yeah,
Good.
it's there's a few comments coming in here that are addressing that. Um, Ron is asking to share your template. I don't see that option on the project dashboard. Oh, sharing a template?
Share the template on the project dashboard.
Yeah, maybe there was an earlier comment
Interesting.
that
So I know if we're talking dashboard, we're gonna be back over here. Am I in the right
right.
place for where you're talking about sharing a template?
We'll wait for excuse me, wait for a little more clarification on that question. There was also a question about
Okay.
importing documents from Word. For I'd be curious how I think at this point everybody knows you can import from Word, right? Or most people do. You got 60 seconds to run us through a quick import from Word scenario?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
All right.
Just as to refresh on importing from Word, once you're actually in a project, you go up here to our nice big red button of New, and we have our Import from Word area. And then from there, we have a couple options of form or specification section.
Sorry to interrupt, guys. Dory, I did try to
Sorry.
answer that question a little bit, but I think Alex is going to give some more information. I did want to point out, especially to that question, there are multiple guide articles about preparing the Word document. Alex has done a phenomenal job detailing out
Right.
in real detail how to do that, and then in the process of importing, which is always being updated. We have a release coming out in a week that again will be another level of automation to that. So sorry for interrupting, Alex. Go right ahead.
Gary, you're the best. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no, it's always good to hear your voice pop up. It's never not welcome. I will say I will finish this and kind of quickly show what Gary was talking about. This is just an example of that guide article, preparing a Word document for import. So there's a lot of different steps that can go into actually getting your Word document to import as smooth as possible, to have it set up for enhanced text, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of different things you can do, but I had some essentials, best practices. I even have what kind of common issues you can run into. So this is pretty in depth, but that would honestly going through the whole preparing a Word document on its own could be a whole spec talk. But anyway, back to
Maybe it should
SpecLink.
be. Maybe it should be.
We've got maybe it should be. We'll
Maybe
see
it
if
should
we'll
be.
see what questions feed looks like if people are saying yes, make it happen.
Yeah.
So we have our import a section menu, and this right here, we have our 3 columns where it's the automation settings, converting to enhanced text, and bulk import settings. So these settings right here, you can just toggle depending on what you're looking for. And you can also, there is one toggle down here, depending on if you want these settings you select to save for all future imports, or if you're doing a one-time import with specific settings, you can toggle it so it doesn't affect your defaults effectively. I'll leave it on for now. So our automation settings, this is just a quick breakdown here, is auto select all paragraphs in this section is whether or not you want all the paragraphs to be active ahead of time. Now, if you are trying to stick with the way that the RIB master works, where you are editing by inclusion and all the paragraphs are deactivated and you have to activate on the way, maybe selecting this isn't the best call, because that means you'll have to go through your section and deactivate everything if you want to set it up like that. But if you know your section is already rock solid and there's not a lot of edits you're going to have to make or things you'll have to toggle, you can leave that on and it'll save you going through and clicking on each of those to activate them. And then the other one we have is auto tagging all paragraphs. So you can either have the paragraphs all set for outline or short form. Then we have converting to enhanced text. So everything you're seeing here is a way that a Word document can actually be set up to bring in and already have SpecLink Cloud, I guess, SpecLinkified in there. So you can have choice fields, global terms, project notes, reference standards, and units of measurement all automatically coded and put into that section. And then finally over here, we have our bulk import settings. So this is where you designate the author. So in this case, I can put ST for SpecTalk, or if you were your own company, you would put XYZ company, if that's like how you refer to yourself as. But I'll put STalk because this is getting imported as SpecTalk. So that's going to be the author. That will appear where you see RIB in the master. And then down here, you can see whether or not you want to have it capitalized or title case, or the way it is in the Word document. Anyway, once you have all your settings all set and you know what you're going to be bringing in, you can choose whether express in import or review. I always leave review on just because it gives me that extra final check before I hit go. But all you have to do is click here. It'll open up your file explorer on one of my 3 monitors. I don't know. Oh, it came up right here. We'll drag that quickly off. Don't want to overload anybody. And I just select the file that I'm looking for. And you can see, so I've actually have a section right here. I put SpecTalk on it just in case an import thing came up. And you can see I open it up for review. It's automatically pulling the section ID. It's automatically pulling the section title. There's the STalk author, and it found which division it should go in based on that section ID. Everything looks good here. Now, if something wasn't good, or maybe it couldn't pull the section ID number, this would be highlighted red and give you a chance to adjust it before a final import. Then I hit import, and we get a little update process down here, and the section will come right on in. Usually pretty quickly, but as we've seen with all the streaming and everything, it might be just a touch slower right now.
It's been a tech week for us all, Alex.
That's right.
Alex
I went through the full process of
forget I'm talking to 2 Alex.
Everything. Yep. I've gone through the full process of unplugging everything that's connected to both my computers the other night and said, okay, we need to clean all this up and get this cable management process going a little smoother as I bring it in. See, this right here is showing you how slow it is running, because this is normally done in like 5-10 seconds when you're just bringing in a single document. But I know that somebody was asking about importing, and that is effectively the process. From here, this file is just going to get added into one of your subfolders wherever it is going to end up, which we know I think is going to end up here in this area. And then you just access it just like any other SpecLink Cloud master section.
There's been a few comments that are coming in about
it, but
yeah, no, this is good. There's been a few comments coming in about wanting a dedicated SpecTalk around importing Word files. So I think we may have to have a side conversation, guys, and maybe there's a bit more of a demand than I thought there was. And there's some questions coming in too about some challenges that people are having when they do that. So let's take a look at those here. Yes, dedicated spec talk would be great. Steve, I'm like my spreadsheet open of future episodes, and that idea is getting plugged in. Also, tables. It was asked to have tables included in the importing from spec talk episodes, or importing from Word episode of spec talk. Whew. So we might have to incorporate that when we build that episode up.
Yeah, I think there is a demo table in the one I imported. So as soon as it's in there, I can show a
Oh,
quick
cool.
example of one
Okay.
at least.
So Alex Fulton, let me ask you, you do a lot of a ton of training around here. What are some of those features that when you show people, like what gets the biggest gasp from your audience? Like, oh my God, like that's going to save me so much time. That's the one that's going to make me change my spec writing game.
Ooh, that's a good question because there's plenty of different features that we have that do that. But I would say, and I know you guys have talked about this multiple times, and I'm gonna go in here and close this. I know it's come up multiple times, and we've had people rave about it on the Spec Talk before. But one of the first things that I will show somebody in a training that gets that initial gap
Mhm.
is the this document map feature. So you click on that document map, and you've
Yeah,
got a
yeah.
section that is a huge scroll or where the thing looks more like a dot than a scroll bar. Being
Mhm.
able to quickly navigate your section by clicking on the
Mhm.
heading and jumping around. That's probably one of the first gasps that I get. That's
Yeah.
one that people say that is amazing, being able to jump around like that.
Mhm.
But outside of that, I would probably say reporting is actually one that gets brought up a lot, where people really appreciate being able to run reports, especially when I guess when the setup of your company is usually having like a project manager and having a lot of people writing the specs underneath you. You're responsible for answering questions and kind of managing everything as it's going.
Mhm.
Because the big one would be the comments report. Now, I'm not sure if this section has any comments in it. I do. So the big one I would say that catches a lot of them is this comments report feature. So you can select comments report, and I'm going to do this from the guise of being the project manager, and I've got a bunch of people working on these specs, and there's a ton of comments in here that are asking me questions specifically that I need to answer.
Mhm.
But instead of having to, and I'll hop over here, instead of having to go find every single different section that has comments in it, open it up, go find that comment, and work on it from that. I can run a comments report, export it to Excel, which I'm hoping I'm able to get very quickly. But based on this import, it's not. I'm not sure how fast it's going to be. Oh, there we go. It was pretty quick. So this comments report ends up working as a fantastic, almost to-do list for your day if you have a bunch of comments to work on, because you can take all of the comments in an entire project, have them pretty much displayed in front of you in one place, and then we all know how Excel works, where you can set up filters, so you can look at only the critical level ones first, and then effectively that becomes your to-do list. Answer these ones first, then you can filter it by high priority, answer those ones next, and so on and so forth. You can see the replies that have already happened to it. You really just get the whole breadth of the commenting and I guess the commenting experience that has happened in a project all in one place. So that's one that I've seen a lot of especially from a manager point of view, really, really appreciate. Oh yeah, so here we go. It's all
Sorry.
loaded up. So it
Okay.
looks like I've got comments in a couple different divisions here. So you can see we've got division 4 comment, a division 8 comment. It'll show you the section number, section name, what sequence number specifically it is, whether the paragraph's active or not. And then I can scroll this over, and then there is the main crux of what we would be looking at. So you can see the comment state. So is it a draft? So I can probably ignore most of the draft comments, or I'm looking for the ones that are open mostly, ones that are pending. I can see the replies. So this one is test comment and reply with standard body. I was wrong. Check with Mike. We can see who made the comments. Most of these are me. So I already know what I've done, so I don't need to reply to me. But over here is the comment priority. So you can go over here. This would be like probably one of the first things I would do is filter by comment priority and start with critical. Deal with those critical comments and then move on from there. This is one that I find a lot of people really like if you are using a lot of comments in your projects.
I know a lot of people too that are using it for their own personal checklists. Sometimes where they're just making comments to themselves of
Sure.
reminders. Hey, don't forget to make a selection here or follow up with somebody there, and then they're just running their own report as their own internal checklist. One of the things I love how involved Faith is in today's episode. Says the ability to build non-printing checklists made her gasp. Game changer. So we're happy to see that taking Faith enjoying that feature as well.
Yes, and Dory, I think that's something we want to maybe look at as its own, spec talk as well. So I mean, we've talked about that before, but
Yeah.
that is definitely very, very powerful. And the abilities to copy paragraphs with links, like we had talked about before too. So you can bring together checklists and then kind of create adjacent checklists in similar nature and sort of fine tune the linking, which is a pretty cool feature I don't think a lot of people are aware of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. It's just chatting with Gary Christensen on the side, who
we said we're not. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, Gary was telling me that his sort of freak out feature is the formatting tools within SpecLink. Anytime he gets to show people how quick and broad the formatting options are, he says that's when he gets the gasps.
Yeah, well, it crosses the streams, so it's the spec writers, it's the admin teams, it's the, that's one thing that immediately cuts down 30-40% of the time just to write a spec. Just you use the pull down menu, and all of a sudden to show them the pull down, Alex, from the CSI format. You can say, okay, I want to use a different a custom format and just build it, and then you have one for your own organization and your clients. So everything becomes considerably faster with these tools.
Cool.
Yeah, very similar to how the building a solid office master can save a lot of time because you've done all the work up front.
Right
on.
Projects
from there go quick. Setting up your templates ahead of time makes it very easy to quickly get all your projects set up down the line.
And what a great segue, Alex Fulton, to remind people that all of our episodes from this year are on demand. And back in January, we had Gary on we did a full episode on SpecLink Office Masters. So if anybody wants to revisit that or check into that or cherry pick some information from that episode, that one was very well attended and very active. So it was a great one.
Alex, another question for you is, and just out of curiosity, when you're training, are people asking about the SpecLink AI feature, especially those that are maybe using the commenting sort of internally as a sort of a cross check, to do their QA, QC?
There have been a couple of questions on it, but for the most part,
Okay.
I have been trying to, until it's a little bit more official, I've been trying to keep my hands off
Sure.
it. And we do have a link now that people can sign up to be one of the testers and utilize that feature, but that's pretty much where I steer most people when that comes up
Sure.
currently.
Okay. I mean, a lot of exciting things to come there. So
here's an interesting
well, I
comment.
am. Oh, go ahead.
No, I think there's a bit of a lag in our so I start talking, then so no problem. Brad had a comment here about I've encountered track changes turning on without actually turning it on. Is there a way to see if that feature is turned on or off per section without opening the section?
Interesting. Okay, so actually, I'm going to go back over to the projects section list here, and you can see, clearly something's hung up with this importing file. So we're just going to minimize that down there, and it can work in the background. So this list right here, if I am to check a specific section, whether or not there's whether or not track changes is on. Unfortunately, you would need to go into that section specifically to see whether or not it's on. But the reason that you might have run into track changes being on in a section that you didn't actually turn on yourself could stem directly from the summary info up here. So in our summary info, or the general settings of the project, you can actually come down here and there is a track changes mode option. Now this kind of falls right into the same way of formatting and getting a project set up from the beginning. If you already know across the board you're using track changes, you can have it set on across all sections so that every single section of the project will have track changes on right away. Default is set at a section level, so you can turn it on or on and off depending on the section. But there is a way if you do want to make sure that none of the sections have track changes on, and with a wide sweeping brush, you can just click off across all sections, and now you know track changes is off without having to go into each section to find out.
I hope that helps. All right, let's jump to another poll question now. We've got 3 lined up for today. Alex Bear, pick a number, 1 or 2.
2.
2. All right, we are going to jump to this question next. This is the one we ask every week. Just want to know who is on with us today. Is everyone a current SpecLink user? Is anyone here not a SpecLink user that is just checking it out for the first time, maybe getting their feet wet, thinking about joining the bright side of spec writing? We've got a bunch of people who are yes, but my consultants are not. So that could be a frustrating thing. And we do have an episode planned coming up. Here, let me, a couple more trickling votes coming in. All right, end and share results. So we do have an episode coming up in November, I believe, where we're going to be having a consulting engineer on to talk about the challenges that and how to overcome them when you're collaborating with, when you're not maybe the primary spec writer, when you're contributing specs to somebody else's project, and what the collaboration feature is like from that perspective. We've got a few people, 3 people who are new to Spec, who are not SpecLink users. So if you have any questions about the product or want your personal one-on-one demo, set you up with a trial after that, be sure to reach out to anybody you've got contact with, and we'll be happy to set all that up and make that happen for you. So just wanted to get that question in there now. Taking a look at a couple more comments here. There were 3 jokes that came in. I know at the beginning of the episode I asked them, like, does
Brilliant.
anybody have some good spec jokes? And at least, I mean, like I said, the comments are there's so many comments today. So I've only caught 3 of them. While I'm looking at a joke, Ron made a comment about where are you where it's 86 degrees at noon. So I think that's probably Alex. It was somebody's temperature up on their screen. Oh, there
Yeah,
it
in
is
my
at the bottom
share, I've got
corner.
87 now is down the corner. I am currently in Atlanta, so I am feeling it even inside because I've got this bright window shining right at me and the sun is pouring in. So it's feeling like 87 inside too.
Tim's asking, is there a way to ignore updates, i.e. when SpecLink deletes a manufacturer so that the section stops reporting that there are updates to be made of? In other words, turn off reporting on updates you choose to ignore. Is that an option we've got? Is to maybe you can show us where the updates are where they come up and what options you have there?
Yeah, I think I might be able to do that. And I will say, as soon as you put up that poll, the import finally finished. So you can see there it is. Our
Hey, all right.
SpecTalk craft control section finally came in.
Maybe that was the problem. It was just
All right, let's go back over
waiting
to
for
the
one more
dashboard.
question.
Yeah, it wanted to do it in the background. It was feeling a little bit shy.
Yeah, that's
So
okay.
I think, and I'm going to guess here, that this slightly older project of the North Main High School will have some updates in it. I'm going to do a quick updates available filter. Okay, so I've got one update available. So that's one thing. Let's see if I can find one with a little bit more. And I think we have some slightly older Office Masters as well. Yeah, Training Office Master is an old one. That'll have some updates for sure. So we'll go updates available. Oh, it is also only looking in active sections. So that is why we are seeing that. Okay, so I will go back to the one where I know there's at least one update, and we can show you guys what that looks like from there. One update available. So I'm going to open this one up here. It is going to load eventually, I promise.
Maybe this is a good time for a spec
Okay,
joke.
so now that we've got a section open, or maybe even a form here. Yeah. So right up here at the top it shows you how many updates are available. So this one here is showing one update available. And if you click on this, it will open up update mode. Same thing over here in the edit area. You can switch from edit mode to update mode. Now I'm going to just click on one update available and it will pull up update mode over here. And you can see, so we have master text updates, reference standards updates, manufacturer updates. So depending on what kind of updates come out, you'll be able to see them here. So master text updates, as they're coming, you can actually click on each of those updates and it'll jump to the line, show you the new line, show you the changes, and you can decide whether or not you want those. So here we have one for reference standards. So there's an update to ASTM. So when I click on that, it'll zoom me down to where the ASTM is. So you can see it's underlined right there. And it looks like it is switching from current edition to current edition or later, and the hyperlink is actually changing as well. So the question was how to ignore certain updates. And there isn't necessarily a button to click ignore. When an update is available, SpecLink Cloud wants to make sure that update is available for whenever you might want it. So if you want to ignore an update, you simply just ignore the update. You don't accept it, which this little green arrow will accept the update, or the accept button up here. As long as you don't accept it, it will remain in an unaccepted state. It won't appear in your project, and you can just move on from there. So if there's a manufacturer that is trying to get removed, feel free to just leave it unupdated, and it will remain there for your the life of the project.
Excellent. Mr. Fulton, we have another question that came through that says my updates available does not show only active sections. Can
Double
you go back to
negative.
that
I
menu
was
where,
trying to.
yeah. So something about when you selected only active sections.
So over here, when I was in our old training office master, and I was thinking that it was going to be just the active sections because I was sure there was going to be updates available in
Okay,
here.
so
Maybe this one doesn't have pending updates.
But I think the nature of the question is that the spec link will show all sections that if there are updates, all sections that have updates available versus just a discrete list of active sections plus the ones that have updates, if that makes sense.
Yes, that is what I expected to happen. Now let's see if this one will do it. See, once again, this is one that's only showing me one's width that is active, but there is absolutely the case that I am only running into an oddity where only active sections have updates. It was my expectation that all sections with updates available were going to appear. So somebody saying that they're seeing inactive sections with updates, I don't believe that's odd. I think what you're seeing on the share is the oddity here, having only active sections appear with updates.
right, we got a comment from Mallory asking about a lead plugin. To the best of my knowledge, we don't have any lead plugins really that we offer for SpecLink. But what I do know, and we had, oh, this is going back a bunch of episodes, so I'm trying to remember the specific comment, but somebody had told us about how and I'm tying in two comments here. So what Faith had said earlier about non-printable checklists, and the previous comment from a previous episode saying how they built out lead checklists, non-printable lead checklists. So they would select points that they were going after, and then those sections would activate, and they were saying how it was saving dozens and dozens of hours per project by having that. Now it took some time to
Oh,
build it properly, but they would come in and just
yep.
sort of And if you've ever worked on a lead project, some points come, some points go, so it's constantly in flux. And that was, I thought that was a really clever way of using that feature.
Yeah, I think
Well, we
if I
don't.
remember, I think Beth was on talking about checklists, and I loved watching her talk about that. I
Yeah.
think checklists is one of the things where that is, if you're able to make checklists in SpecLink Cloud, you figured it out. You've got, because that is talking about all different types of links. That's talking about tagging the paragraphs. That's talking about cross-section links. Like if you can make checklists in SpecLink Cloud, you are, I would call you almost an advanced user just by default there.
Does anybody,
Sure.
like, I'd love to see in the comments, is anybody building their own custom checklists like that? Is it something? Oh, of course, Faith first in the comments. We're using checklists to manage our jurisdictional requirements by state or province as applicable. Very cool. Yeah, there's the
Brilliant.
uh,
That's a great
Karen
use
saying
of them.
yes. Mazzetti does. Keenan's absolutely using them. All right, who else? Kelly's using them. We also have drawings.
Dory, we
We
do
have
have some lead checklists though in the system. So I think maybe you're referring more to maybe a section, a custom section checklist. But we do have some things in Division 1.
the comment that I was thinking of, they had done a ton of custom work to build out
Okay.
their own checklist that addressed all the available points.
Okay, but yeah, we do have something on a global level.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure that that's, noted to the user group here.
Mhm.
That's in Division 1, and that's under it should be under administrative requirements, 013,000.
Yeah, if we want to show that, that'd be a
Oh yeah,
really
there we go. We have well,
really good thing.
lead.
Yep. Yeah. So in fact, we were very
I can
built around that in the way of choosing credit categories and sort of a funnel approach down into the specific types of credits. Is it new construction? Is it core and shell? Is it lead for schools? And then it goes through and it kind of recommends different lead points that you can select to sort of tally up the kind of game plan for how you're going to get to that certain number of credits, and the selections and the checklist will then turn on the related technical sections and related information there. So like I know like in the heavy timber framing, there's a paragraph about must source wood within a 500-mile radius of the job site kind of thing. So it'll turn things like that on, or certain products and materials, low VOC paint, these kinds of things.
Right. And Gary wanted me to remind everybody that there are articles for section and project checklists available in the help guide as well. So it's
Mhm.
that little question mark button. That, man, it's a little button, but it leads to a lot of really, really great
Ooh.
information.
Yep, right up here, top right corner of every single page in SpecLink Cloud. And I did open one of these, one of the lead sections, and I love this. Non selectable paragraph note right at the beginning. For best results, edit the project sustainability goal credit summary section first. This section is linked to and from that one, so will almost completely be filled out when that one is complete. So it's effectively telling you, don't touch this one, work in that one instead, and we'll take care of this for you.
Cool. All right, we are wrapping up. Like, guys, we got like 7 minutes left before everybody's got to uh, finish up with us and get back to work. Well, if you're in the Eastern time zone, I mean, I don't want to take your lunch whenever you want, but if you're in the Eastern time zone, yeah, we've taken up your lunch hour today on a Friday too. So thank you for being here. That is a very, very
Mm-hmm.
cool thing. So let me throw one more poll question out there while we start to wrap up. And this is this is one that just is a direct result of today. We usually do spec talks on Wednesdays. Okay. And so we had a certain amount of people registered for Spec Talk on Wednesday. And then when it had to get bumped to Friday, we literally almost doubled the registration, the amount of people that signed up for it. So it got us thinking, and it was an excellent Kristen wanted me to ask this today. Like, is there a better day for Spec Talk? Is there a day that more people, and I am really surprised by this answer here. I will end and share. It's looking like Friday might be a day that's preferred by the people that we have on with us right now by about 2 to 1. So interesting. Now I can't promise like a shirt and tie
I
every
feel like this
Friday.
is
It might turn into like, tank tops and stuff at some point, but that's a really I never would have guessed that. That's a really interesting take
I
there.
feel like it's a little bit of a skewed survey though, because the people who are here on
Oh,
Friday probably prefer Friday.
that's true.
That's true. All right, so we should do this again next time on a
On a
Wednesday to see.
Wednesday and see if
I think.
yeah.
Boy, I don't. You got to be part scientist to run this thing, right? Just dabbling in all these like tests and studies to see how everything's going to be working out. Um,
Yeah,
oh my God,
and
the
we need to
comments
send it
today,
to a
guys,
control group of people who don't come at all.
Who doesn't come to SpecTalk? I mean, come on. So either day is fine. Friday, except before 3-day weekends. Yeah, that's maybe that's a
Oh,
big uh, thing that we should remember. Too much
Sure, that's a
project
factor.
competition during the week. Okay, that's good feedback. Eric's saying too much uh, project competition, so sometimes Fridays might be easier to attend. Um, so we will, we will see how that goes. But we are going to start landing this. Alex Fulton, Alex Bear, thank you as always for being here and riding this ride with us. Alex
Absolutely.
Fulton, thank you for being our esteemed guest today. Are you happy if we call you an esteemed guest? Would that be our notable
esteemed
guest?
feels it feels good. I like it.
Are you okay with it?
No,
Okay,
I like
thank you for
notable.
being.
That's a good one.
Okay, thank you for being our notable guest today. Thank you to everybody who exchanged some emails with us because we were supposed to do this Wednesday. I had a fun time, with a little bit of banter going back and forth with a few of you guys. So that was a lot of fun for me as well. I'm going to share the screen here one more time, and we will wrap up what we're doing here. So look at Dory's getting so much better with the screen shares. We are just
There
going
you
to
are.
jump forward ahead there. So Alex, again, thank you for being our guest today. If anybody wanted to reach out to Alex for any purpose, his email address is right up on the screen there. And honestly, amazing information that you provided for us today, Alex. This is going to make for a great recording. I think something that people can keep coming back to as a reference. Our next Spec Talk, here's an interesting semi-shift to the pace of it. We are going to be talking to our managing director of RIB North America, Damon Bridge. So Damon is going to join us for what will no doubt be a candid conversation about the company, about the product, where it's been, where it is, where it's going. We're going to be able to talk about some high-level things about the overall direction of the product, and some of the new exciting things that are being developed and that are going to be happening. So if you've never if you've never seen Damon speak, you got to just show up. It's going to be entertaining for sure, knowledgeable and charismatic. It's going to be an awesome conversation and an awesome time to have Damon on with us. So on that note, I will thank everybody for coming. Thank the Alexes. It's always good to be surrounded by some Alexes. And to everybody that shifted their Wednesday to Friday, again, thank you very, very much. And on that note, the replay will be uploaded by Monday. Thank you for the clapping hands. I love all you guys. This is so much fun. Everybody have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you for all the
And
questions.
connect on, yeah, the questions. Oh my God, so crazy. Connect with any of us on LinkedIn. We would absolutely love that. And we will talk to you guys soon. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great one. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.